Today I'm going to show you how I stay lean and in flow state as an entrepreneur. Stay lean, sharp mentally and cognitively, because this actually matters. Looking like an athlete, but still being able to perform as much and as well as in your office that as in the gym. Because right now you don't necessarily have a diet problem. You have a knowledge and structure of your day problem. This is really the main problem. Because the thing is, some people think that it's either one or the other and that it works in seasons. One season, like for 6 months, I will only focus on bodybuilding and kinda put the work on the side. And on the other season, it's full business, 12 hours a day, boom, 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 boom. But it's not how it works. It needs to be in harmony, because if you're all in everywhere, that's when you'll make the most amount of progress. It truly works in harmony. One goes with the other. Because if you're all in on your body standard, your personal standard, you'll also be all in on your business standard, because standards transfer everywhere. If you lack the personal standard, the work, the business, the career, it will suffer as well. Because guess who the fuck has to show up in the business? Guess who the fuck has to show up here in the office? The guy who shows up in the gym, the guy who's lean, the guy who's disciplined with his diet, his training, his steps, his cardio. It works in harmony. So let me show you something. So this was a few weeks ago. I'm even leaner right now, but that's how I feel when I work. Because if you train, you have the right diet, you'll get lean to that below 10% body fat. You'll get the cognitive performance, which will make you happy, high frequency, make more money, and be more relaxed, be more calm. Because now you know you're the guy that can follow through on his own words. That's how it works. It's all about energy. It's all about frequency. Because let me ask you something, bro. Would you rather make, I don't know, 50 mil a year, 50 millions, and look like this? Or let's say 10, but look like this? Being the guy everywhere, not only in business, but in the gym, in the office, high personal standards, high frequency. Because if you clicked on this video, it means that maybe you're an entrepreneur already, or you want to become one, and you like people like, and you watch people like Charlie Morgan, Hormozy, etc. And you tell yourself that you want their lives, but trust me, you don't, bro. You don't want to be sat all day for 14 hours a day, only working on your thing. Yeah, maybe you go 3 hours in the gym per week, but that's not enough. Trust me, you don't want to trade places with them. They're outliers. Their goal is to become billionaires. I'm pretty sure that 5 to 10 million would be enough for you. And we're not them. Because to have the life that you want, you need to be good 360. Because the body is the foundation of everything. If the body is weak, your foundation is weak. And so everything on top of it will be weak. And it all comes down to the standard that you have for yourself, with training, and the diet. Because bro, lean is low. This is the most important part of all of it. Being all in on your body, as I said, is being all in on your business and career. That's just how it works. These are personal standards. These personal standards show up when you show up to work, when you show up in career, wherever. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you neglect the personal standard side of things, first, you'll think you'll be making some progress because, oh, I'm working 10 hours, 12 hours on the business. But then you realize that the output sucks. Even the inputs. Tired, not getting the results. You're just a fly trying to get out of a room, bumping its head against the window over and over again. Not much results when there's a window open like just 1 meter away. But you don't take that time to focus on yourself to see that window, which is the body and the mind. There is no such thing as business standard. There are personal standards affecting the business. Because which one of these two me do you think made the most amount of progress? The guy who was kinda neglecting his fitness, stopped tracking his calories, go on the bulk to try and gain muscle, or this guy? The guy who's lean 4 to 5 times a week in the gym, knows exactly the diet that he needs to have, a clear daily structure, so the one with high standards, or the guy who just do it but isn't all in. He thinks he has a great body compared to normal society, so he just, oh, I still go to the gym, I still eat healthy, I still eat right. But yeah, if you're only 80% in, you'll only get 10% out. If you want to get 100% of output, you need to be 100% in, everywhere. body, mind, spirituality, to be high frequency all day. And that's the main reason I invested in a coach while I looked like this. I knew I was holding myself to a higher standard, that I wanted to hold myself to a higher standard. I wanted less guesswork. I wanted a flu blueprint that's been proven to work. Proximity with high standard savages. Because when I was there, I was trying to build some businesses because I thought this was the way for me to finally cope this depression, this lethargic state, this lost state, because I would come from work, from my internship, crying. And I thought the business making some money would be the quick fix. But then I realized like the thing that was missing was truly the standard, the personal standard for myself, the early wake ups, the gym, the truly being locked in on the nutrition, the body, the leanness. I was losing my personal standard. And so it's no wonder that I wasn't making any progress in the business side of things and that I was still feeling lost, lethargic every single day. That's the law of exposure. Expose yourself to the guy who has what you want, the information in the body, in the mind, even in the business. Because once you're exposed, you can be unexposed. And so investing in a fitness coach while looking like this, which is probably a dream body for most people, I still made a lot of progress. Because the more advanced you are, the more coaches you need. Like if you think of every footballer, every athlete, they all had coaches throughout their whole lives. When some people might think they needed the less, no, they need the most because they need to perform, just like an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are athletes, remember that. I know I'm not talking much about the diet in this introduction, but that's so important to grasp. So what is it not? It's not keto, it's not carnivore. I know it's been kinda trending recently, especially for entrepreneurs. Yeah, you might have good cognitive performance when you're not eating that much carbs, but the thing is, you'll just feel flat. You'll be flat, not much muscles, not much progress in the gym, not much energy throughout the day, sustain energy throughout the day. And it's not a bodybuilder diet either, like constant carbs throughout the day, 100 carbs in the morning, at noon, in the evening, like all throughout the day, and you just get this brain fog. So we need to find a right balance. Because when I tried all of these, like especially keto and carnivore, I had lower performance in the gym. I was always feeling flat, consistently digesting because the fat, well, it digests longer than carbs. I had some digestive problems and I had a lack of energy. And when I was on the bodybuilder diet, I just had this constant brain fog, crashes afternoon, like at 2 to 3 p.m. I was just sleeping, not doing anything that I wanted to do. The precision performance nutrition that I give to all of my clients and that I follow myself every single day. It ensures high cognitive function, stable energy throughout the day, consistent progress with your body in the gym, which is really important as we saw, because we need to progress in every area in harmony. And obviously nutrient timing optimization for the gym and not to mess with the cognitive performance blocks of your days. So what it is, 80 to 90% whole food. Obviously, it should be mandatory because don't do what 90% of the population does because they have mediocre results. And so you don't want to be eating like them. Most of them eat so much crap, so much shit from, like, I don't even know what's the ingredient inside all of the processed stuff, but never do that. We're eating whole food to maximize our gut health, which is really important because it's connected to your brain. And if you mess up your gut, you won't be able to focus at all. It's the best for recovery and you won't have random crashes throughout the day. High carbs, high protein, low to medium fat, depending on which on the shredded physique roadmap you're in. I'm going to show that later. Yes, I said high carbs because it's all about knowing when to time these carbs close to your training and not to mess up with your work, which is truly easy to do. Trust me, when you have the knowledge, when you know when to time all of your meals, it becomes so easy to balance both of them. It becomes your allies. Your nutrition becomes your ally. It's not, oh, I'll eat so I'll have less focus after that. No, you get everything. More training quality and energy, muscle preserving during cutting. That's why most people feel flat on carnivore and keto. So meal plus nutrient timings for the gym and when you work. One of the two options is what I do myself. Unless I train first thing in the morning, I have to take some calories like some whey and a banana. So intermittent fasting with 2 to 3 big meals. Do not eat until your biggest workblock is done. So for example, you wake up at 5 a.m., you work from 6 to 10, then you can get your first meal. Full cognitive capacity, then your first meal after that you can go to the gym so you get some carbs in. And when you come back, you won't have this insulin spike. You'll still be sharp. because you would have trained, raised your energy, high frequency, boom, we go again. A lot of water plus electrolytes plus black coffee when working, obviously, and that's for peak clarity and performance. Or if you train first thing in the morning, like me sometimes, you can have some very light, high protein, low carbs meal. So for example, it could be a banana, 2 bananas, plus some whey. It can be before, during, or after the workout, really depending on how you feel. If you ate before, if you eat during, or if you eat after. There's no good answer for that. So I talked about the shredded physique roadmap for the calories, the macros, etc. The only thing that switches between people, between the phases you're in, would be the calories, the fats, and the carbs mainly. Because your diet will be the same throughout the year. You'll be lean year round, you'll be cognitively sharp year round if you follow this physique roadmap. Priming, diet phase, reverse diet, performance recomp. I made a video already talking about that in depth, so if you want to check it out, go ahead, but I'll make just a quick recap. So priming is basically when you're that guy and you've been on crash diet for a while, or you've not been training and eating the right way for a while. The first thing to do would be to increase the calories, raise your floor, so we can go on the diet phase easily with all the energy, with all the insulin sensitivity that is required for you to preserve the muscles and cut the right way. Because if you've been on a crash diet for a while now, you've been fucking up your hormones, your body, your progress, your muscle, your energy levels, everything. Then we enter a diet phase, which is basically the cutting phase. Then the reverse diet to increase the calories back up, and we'll still be lean while increasing the calories. We'll get leaner while increasing the calories. That's the magic of the reverse diet. Then we enter a performance phase. So you'll be 8% body fats, and the performance phase is basically a main gaining phase, a lean bulking phase. So during the next 6 to 8 months, we'll build in muscle until you're at 12 to 13% body fat, no more than that, because after that it's disgusting. You want to stay sharp, lean, so you feel the best in your body and in your mind. And so after that we recomp and we basically repeat the diet phase, reverse performance. Diet phase, reverse performance. That's so easy. The calories, you need to know where you are on the roadmap, because that's how we'll fix your calories. Because on the performance phase, you could be at 3,000 calories. On the diet phase, you could be at 2,000. So there's a huge difference. You need to know on which phases of the roadmap you are. Likely you would be on the diet or a priming phase, because most people are fat. 15% body fat is fat. You need to get a good base before you want to build some lean muscle again. So you can go on the TDE calculator just to find your current maintenance, and then you could go on the priming or diet phase likely. And that's exactly what I give my clients inside Forge Demand. So they usually start at the priming phase or diet phase. So what a day of eating could look like for this precision performance nutrition. Wake up at 5 a.m., a lot of waters, electrolytes. In the morning, I do this internal identity alignment, which basically rewires my mind to think as the guy who already has the goals from the end state. So for example, it could be if you go in the gym first thing in the morning, no intermittent fasting, get some carbs in, some whey in, but that shouldn't really mess with your cognitive performance. Deep work block. Second meal is the first big meal of the day. So you get some carbs in, some healthy fat, protein in. As you can see, it's mainly whole food. And I don't put the grams, the calories, etc., because it really depends on where you are on the shredded physique roadmap, because you could be eating 500 calories just like you could be eating 900 calories. So there's no point in doing that. You get the gist of what's the food required for you to make the most amount of progress in the gym and cognitively. Then you chill, relax, meditate, walk, so you don't go back to work instantly, so you don't have this insulin spike messing up with your work. Then 20 to 40 minutes cardio, so it should be between 3 to 5 times a week, depending on which are the shredded physique roadmap you're in, depending how much calories you need to burn. But it's not only about calories burned, the cardio. It gives you energy, and that's also a frequency raiser. That's an energy raiser. You're not tired, you're not feeling lethargic because you're moving too much. It's because you're not moving enough. Life, performance, it's all about energy. Everything you see, every people, everything you see in your room, all of that is energy. And so the more energy you have, the more progress you'll make everywhere. It's all about forging that man every single day, holding yourself to high standards. And how do you hold yourself to high standards? By raising your energy every single day and your frequency as well. Cardio is so important, man. Not only for your health, not only for living longer, but just for your performance overall. Then you can get your second work block, and your third meal is the biggest meal of the day. Usually I eat like a first big meal, then a porridge. So these are two examples of big meals. Then I would eat a porridge. So it would be, depending on the phases again, it could be 1,000 calories, it could be 1,500 calories or more, because I don't mind eating most of my calories, like at least 50% of my calories in the evening, because I won't really work after that. And that's also a way for me to relax, to chill, to finally get rewarded for my day of work, of gym, of cardio, of doing everything I knew I needed to do. And that's the easiest way if you want to be focused throughout the day. Get most of your calories in the evening. If you want to have great sleep, if you want to have great recovery, magnesium, zinc, and ashwagandha, it allows you to sleep better. What if you want to eat more? What if you're not a mental worker, but you work a lot, you have a job on the side, like maybe you're a server, you work in construction, you're in the kitchen, you work a lot, and you want to have more meals throughout the day? You could have 4 meals. I don't mind. You could not even be intermittent fasting if that's something you don't want to be doing. Here's a story I posted recently, being so dialed on the nutrition that pasta is considered a cheat day. It's also about flexibility. That's why I said 80 to 90% of whole food. You have the right to sometimes eat some bread, eat outside, eat in a restaurant, as long as your calories and macros are respected, but it still should be healthy, whole food. You don't want to be putting so many crap in your body, so many chemicals that we can't even spell the name of. Whole food is the way, healthy food is the way. That's how you'll stay sharp cognitively. And yeah, as I said, it's not only about the diet, it's all about energy and frequency. And you need some energy frequency raiser, which food, the right food is, but you need more. Because forging that man is all about being all in everywhere, being 360. The 360 athletes, the 360 entrepreneur. So body, mind, spirituality, structure, your daily structure, your life. Because you can have great habits, 10 great habits throughout the day, but only one bad habit can outweigh these 10 great habits, and that's why you're still feeling stuck right now. I learned that the hard way. So movement, obviously 4 to 5 times strength training, gym and calisthenics mainly, compound movement, body weight movement, because you don't just want to have muscle to have muscle. You want to be good everywhere, 360 athletes. You want to be able to do some muscle ups, some weighted pull-ups, weighted dips. So otherwise, what are your muscles for? 3 to 5 30-minute cardio sessions, energy raiser, frequency raiser, allows you to get leaner, 10K step minimum daily. That's how you'll relax, that's how you reflect, that's how you'll empty your mind, and that will allow you to focus better, get more RDA, etc. The mind work as well. AM, identity, and alignment. That's something I do every single morning. I meditate as well. That's really about embodying the person you want to become. Writing in the present tense what you have, what's your body like, what's your life, how's your business like, what is your business, like all about your end state. How do you operate? What are your standards? And you already embody that person, like you feel what you wrote and you embody that person every single day. It's all about being all in everywhere, 360. So what not to do? Eating a big meal before your deep work, cutting carbs completely, or going on low carbs. You still need that glycogen to recover your muscle properly and to build the right amount of muscle and to preserve your muscle if you're on a cut. You don't want to feel flat, you don't want to feel lethargic all day because you're not building the right muscle, because you're going to the gym and you don't have the proper recovery after that. A heavy push phase, bulking too much, because you think you don't have enough muscle. But likely most people that say that they're fat, and they would be better for them to go on the cuts, getting on the proper base before wanting to build some lean muscle, because they're not responsive. Because the more fat you have and the less responsive you have to building muscle, the more fat you'll gain and destroy your progress. Crash diets to lean down quick. This almost made me anorexic, by the way. And some people, like, that's what I was talking about earlier. They're just fucking up their hormones. They're thinking that eating 1,500 calories is good for them to lean down. And nothing happens. They're not losing fat and they don't understand why. Eating mainly processed food because it fits your macros. Dumb as fuck. Thinking and acting as if health isn't wealth. I mean, yeah, we can see people making millions, making 15K a month, and they look like dog shit. But trust me, you wouldn't want their lives. They would trade their current income for the body that you'll build, or that you have, or that you want to have. Now, if you want to have access to my whole daily blueprint that from AM to PM, just DM me blueprint on IG and you'll get it. So that's the Forge daily standards. 5 phases. I talk about everything in there. My alignment and identity process, my full morning routine, so my internal and identity alignment, what I eat, the supplement I take, when to train, when to do the cardio, even the goal setting and the evening recalibration. That's how I stay high energy. That's why I stay high frequency and have the daily standards that build a physique like this and some sharp cognitive performance. Let's keep learning. Let's keep winning. Let's fucking go.